The Jacob Media Sports Network, in partnership with 97.3 ESPN, brings you the Mays and Eytan Show.
Middays with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander.
Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
Yeah, Harry, for the last, 3 months maybe, I think a late-night Phillies game would be right up my alley because my biological clock has shifted so much that it's basically like...
Your biological clock?
Yeah, you haven't heard about it?
Wait, you're pregnant?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I took a drug test yesterday. It came up I'm pregnant.
Oh, somebody else's urine?
No, apparently it was mine. It was like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Junior.
Jeez.
You ever see that one?
No.
Come on, you've never seen the one movie in which he gets pregnant?
No.
All right, well, he didn't have somebody else take his urine, is my point. But that would have been like Fairbanks, Alaska in the summer where it's bright out nonstop, and it would be like a regular afternoon. With that said, last night I took full opportunity of passing out as early as humanly possible, and I regret nothing.
Well, you missed a good one.
Listen, I woke up, and it was 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was able to see the game. I was able to see some highlights. I was able to, to play Madden and watch some highlights and watch some stuff on my computer. Trust me, I was caught up. But as far as staying up and watching this late game and investing my time as far as that's concerned, I regret nothing.
Well, you missed a good one.
Yeah, I missed Vince Velasquez.
It's not often. It's almost like Haley's Comet when Vinny Velo gets you into the 7th inning, and he gave you 7 strong last night.
Well, he was allowed to go in the 7th inning. You buried the lead. Come on. Kapler usually yanks people before the 7th.
Well, I'm just saying he pitched well.
No, I don't disagree
well.
with you.
He was not inefficient like he usually is. It's not like Gabe Kapler just doesn't want him to get to the 7th. Believe me, he's got Arrieta going tonight, and he knows that he's probably only going to be able to get 4 innings out of him because of his elbow, this chip in his elbow. He's only been able to give you limited amount of pitches tonight, so he's probably going to have to go into the bullpen early.
Yeah.
So last night was a godsend, and it was given you by Vince Velasquez, who I went back and looked at his career, every start of his career. He has gotten into the 7th inning or beyond, okay?
Yep.
6 times.
That's
since
it?
2015. I went through every appearance.
That's it? Just
okay?
6 times?
This year, this season, he's gone 6 innings once and 7 innings last night. Once.
Wow.
Now, there's 5 other times where he's gone, or 4 other times where he's gone at least 7 innings in his career, and he went 9 innings once, which is the only 7+ that he has in his career. He's gone 6 innings to 6 2/3, 33 times in his career.
All right, so this is like watching a tomato can accidentally knock somebody out.
Well, it's a rare occurrence. It's Buster Douglas.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, he's no tomato can.
No,
but he wasn't supposed to win.
He wasn't. Yeah, exactly. He was not Mike Tyson.
Right.
And so what you're saying is that was worth it for you.
Yes.
To see tomato can Boyd.
Yes.
All right.
Bryce Harper's got a new batting stance. He's got the
for
bat
God's
more
sake.
vertical. He got a couple of hits last night, a couple of knocks.
Here we go. You
Yeah,
can't
man.
tell me that there's any type of restored confidence, energy, buzz, faith. Normally
Well, there
it's
is
like,
with me because I tell you what, they
What?
better keep winning because the Mets are 11-1 in their
we
last 12
told you about
games.
the Mets yesterday.
Well, I know, but
me and our buddy Howie on the text board.
Well, I know, but they played the Marlins. They played the Pirates a couple of times. They played the White Sox, who actually beat the Phillies 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
But they've been feasting on some bad teams,
Well, isn't it
which is what
strange?
you're supposed to do.
Except if you're the Phillies, as you just laid out.
Yeah, right.
The Phillies have been kicking themselves in the ass because they can't do anything against bad teams. Meanwhile, you see a team like the Mets in the start of August, like that stretch of August, start taking advantage of bad baseball teams that are in front of them, or at the very least, worse. Like, if you can't take advantage of series in August of teams that are worse than you,
Right.
then how are you expecting anybody to buy into one random night in which Vince Velasquez happens to backdoor and trip his way ass backwards into the 7th inning?
Well, I mean, they did beat the Pirates 2 out of 3. They beat they swept the Tigers 2 out of 2.
Yeah, they would have lost another one if that was a 3-game series. Come on, let's be honest.
Yeah, but they still would have won a 3-game series.
Oh, no, I would have won the
2.
series, but let's not act like they were swept Detroit.
Well, it was only a 2-game series. They did what they had to do. But they did lose 2 games out of 3 to the White Sox, which is unacceptable. It should not happen.
It's embarrassing.
So,
Now, what's changed for you off of
well, the other thing that's changed
last
is
night?
now I've noticed that Nola and Bumgarner are not scheduled to go on Thursday night. opposite the second half of the football game. It looks like Smiley is going to be pitching, according to the Phillies website.
Now, you're
morning.
more interested in Smiley than anybody else.
No, I want to see Nola and Bumgarner.
Let's be honest.
Intrigued me.
Now, we've got an issue here because the stream is on, but the cloud coverage is pretty bad.
Like, it looks like a thunderstorm is rolling in.
Now, I'm going to have to turn the light on. Are you okay with this?
That's fine.
Because I'm going to have to do it live on the air. Because I can't turn the light no longer responds to my hands. It's simply it's talk to
All right, well,
technology.
Go talk to the light.
Alexa, turn on the light. All right, so with that said, I think you look at the Smiley start, right?
Yeah.
Thursday night. Is that really going to pull anybody? Nola might. But how much? I mean, the first.
No, I'm going to be dialed in on football Thursday night.
But how much? And I don't need like a pie or a ratio or anything like that as far as, we're not going to open up the text board and ask people for the next 2 hours, how much a Thursday night do you plan on watching, put a poll up, anything like that. But I'm just curious, like, do you think there'll be a point where your body will either give out or you're just going to lose interest and you'll turn to something else?
No, I'd go to bed.
That's my point.
Yeah, I wouldn't turn to something else.
Okay.
I'd just go to bed.
But you wouldn't watch anything different?
No. Now, if Nola was pitching with Bumgarner, I would put the Phillies game on.
Yeah.
After I got sick of watching preseason football and, guys on the roster that are probably not going to make the team.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I understand.
But there's still the element of scouting for fantasy, right? Like there might be a guy in the second quarter, right, who's going to be a third stringer somewhere.
Right. For the Tennessee Titans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to happen there, and you look around thinking, man, I saw that guy play, and I know what he's worth. In a daily league, you might pick him up for a steal, and everybody's like, what?
He made a couple of plays against the Eagles in week 1 of the preseason. I'm going to stick him in my DFS lineup. Boom.
And then what happens?
He makes a play.
And then you
touchdown.
feel that much
then
more
I felt
validated.
like, man, that 2 hours or 3 hours I invested on an early August
just gonna
night
say that.
is so freaking worth it.
That's why you do that.
Yes.
There's no scouting on Thursday. You're not going to gain any more knowledge or insight about Drew Smiley to Bryce Harper missing one start. I tell you, I used to run the board at the news talk station for Hannity, right? Now, I've been in news talk for as long as I've been in sports talk. Just it's the nature of it, right? Produced and hosted and everything. That one show, I'll tell you, I would take like a week off. I'd come back. He would be talking to the same people. He'd have the same 3 guests. He'd have the same points. Other shows would shift, like Mark Levin. All these other shows would move around.
The great one.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark Levin.
He would have the same show every 2 to 3 days. It would just rotate over and over again. So you could take a week off and not miss anything. Exactly right.
The hits.
But those hits never changed.
I know.
At least Rush and these other guys, when I was on that station, the stuff changed. My point of all of this is that the Phillies, like, what are you missing with one Smiley start and one 1-for-4 Bryce Harper appearance? You're not going to feel any type of remorse, nor is anybody else out there. You can take the night off.
Well, yeah, I'll take Thursday off now that Nola's not pitching.
And you go right back to Friday.
We'll go right back to Friday.
Now, you're concerned, because I'm not, that Nola got his start bumped.
No, I don't know maybe he ends up pitching. Who knows? These things change, just like it was different yesterday. But that is something I would want to watch, those 2 pitchers going at it.
Okay, now you're dealing with, you change, that's a secondary option, right? Now, how often do you deal with a sport, non-sport secondary option? Because that's an easy one. 2 sport options is an easy one.
Yeah, see, I'm not watching anything on regular television that's episodic that I have to watch when they want me to watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always on demand, or I'm, binging a series that ended 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like The Wire. I watched episode 3 of season 1 yesterday afternoon. A fantastic episode.
Episode 3, season 1,
Yeah.
I mean, man, it's been about 4 years or so since I've seen it, but it's the best show I've ever seen.
It's really good.
The writing of that show is just amazing. And I think, for me, it's like Law and Order. I've always loved Law and Order.
And the acting, too, is really good.
Yeah, but it takes a really good script, right? And then you're right. There's nothing really wrong. It's kind of crazy that more people didn't blow up from that show.
I know.
But, even every individual pocket. So what do you have to wait until you get to Omar's? It's season 3?
Omar just appeared in the white van
And
they
episode three,
ripped off the stash.
Right.
That was episode 3 of season 1.
That's what I'm saying. Not season 3, episode 3.
Yeah.
You have to wait a couple of episodes.
You don't know he's Omar until they're stealing the stash,
Right.
and then one guy goes, "Come on, Omar, let's go," and he looks at him like, "Dude, like you just told them my name, you idiot."
Right.
I can't believe you didn't just shoot him.
No, it's amazing. There are like 4 or 5 characters where if you were in a conversation, like if you were in some battle royale and you had to represent the Wire and you had a couple of different options you could throw out to the main floor as far as like greatest storylines in a television series, there are like 4 or 5 that would stand alone, that individually could be winners in that against. And I understand, like, we're talking about Tony Soprano, Walter White, Vic Mackey, Al Swearingen. Like, we're talking about some really big name, powerful people on screen and good guys as well. Like Timothy Olyphant in Justified was exceptional. You know, even first 5 seasons of Dexter I thought was really good as well. My point of it, though, is The Wire, how often does a show have 2 or 3 guys, or characters, I should say, that you could point to and say, man, just focus on those 2 or 3 characters, and that would be a show in its own right.
Yeah, like Detective Greggs, whatever.
Yeah.
Shima or Kima, I think her name is in the. She's really good.
Yeah,
and Bunk is really good.
Well, Bunk is like,
he's been in a lot of stuff.
What's he been in? Wasn't he recently in a commercial?
Possibly.
Yeah, pull up his IMDb, will you? Because I thought he came in on commercial.
He might be
something recent, but. I mean, think about it. You've got Omar, you've got McNulty. Bunk was fantastic. Now, he was, unfortunately, you didn't dive deeper into him like a McNulty, but the lieutenant, I mean, that guy, I forget his name in real life, but the guy that originally starts and then gets bumped up to the lieutenant, he was outstanding. It's a great show, man.
It really is.
I remember watching it a couple of summers ago for the first time, and watching it with people like now you're rewatching it. I was watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago.
His name's Wendell Pierce.
Yeah, Wendell Pierce
plays Bunk.
But that's Bunk, right? Not the lieutenant. Amazing, man. 609-403-0973. Text board's already popping, Harry. So you must have said something, or maybe it was me giving you the advice to turn around on the entire Phillies game Thursday night. You know, we had some audio, some stuff pop, right? Did you hear what happened as far as Greg Popovich taking a shot at Tim Duncan, Freddie Kitchens trying to close down a locker room?
Well,
and Bill Belichick doing his amazing Bill Belichick impersonation?
No.
All right.
I haven't heard any of this stuff.
I think you'll appreciate. Let's start with Bill Belichick, Josh,
okay,
if we can. And we'll hit the text board coming up in a second, 609-403-0973, because I grabbed this cut thinking of you. I know that you love doing your Belichick impersonation, and you, like me, we have an appreciation for what he does.
Oh, yeah.
Good and bad.
Totally.
It's just an amazing.
I think he's amazing.
So this is Belichick. Like, you have to ask Bill Belichick about the contract. You know, you have to ask the guy, hey, what's going on with Brady and everything. This is his response.
A Brady contract, it's always good to come to an agreement with a player, any player. So, you know, that's a good thing. And I'm not going to talk about the contract, so we'll move on from that and focus on what we're here for, which is a great opportunity to work against the Lions. Very appreciative of this opportunity, from Matt and staff and the organization. It's a good opportunity for our football team, our coaches, our players, our organization. As a road trip to fine-tune things on a lot of different levels and compete against a team obviously we weren't very competitive against last year.
Man, he was actually verbose.
Well, he spent way more time talking about the Lions,
well, that's
Matt
what
Patricia,
he does.
in the game,
yeah,
right,
that's what
than
he does.
he did on
Because
Brady.
they're doing practices against the Lions
Absolutely.
right now, I guess. And but I mean, he said a lot there. That's not normal.
About the Lions.
Normally,
and
he
about
would just say his 3 words about the contract and move on to the next question.
Well, the biggest thing we needed to know was about the contract, which he said, I'm not going to talk about.
Right.
So
I'm good with it. Basically, he did a Brian Kenny.
Yeah.
I'm good with the contract.
Bill, how do you feel about it? Yeah, I'm good with it.
Well, it's always a good thing to sign a player.
It's amazing.
It's nothing.
No, and you weren't going to get anything at all, but I love how...
I'm good with it.
Yeah,
yes, thank you.
He's the one who shifts it immediately after saying, well, listen, I'm not going to talk. He comes out, I'm not going to talk about the contract.
I'm not going to get into
It's just amazing because nobody else, I think, does that. It's awesome
Now,
stuff.
what did Popovich do? Because I know he hired Tim Duncan as an assistant coach, I believe, right?
Yes, he did.
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, he did. So Popovich gave us an update on how Tim Duncan is doing so far, I would ask.
So far, they're not doing anything.
Well, as far as acclimating himself to the Greg Popovich mantra,
Oh, okay. I mean, there's no practices, there's no games, there's nothing.
No, nothing is happening at the moment. Right. All right. Well, let's listen to Pop.
Tim Duncan doesn't know a lick about coaching. I don't even know why he hired him. He's given me a paycheck for 19 years, so I was kind of obliged to pay him back.
Well, he's obviously being funny. That's, being sarcastic.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah. Jeez.
I was setting it up.
That
right.
guy.
Well, Pop, here's the thing. We've seen Brett Brown. We've seen Budenholzer. We've seen, the Pop tree.
Yeah.
Pop's not going to be there long enough. Like, this is equivalent to having a child at 60 years old. You're not going to, how long are you expected to be? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. You can have a child if you're 80 if you want. Maybe 70 is probably.
What do you mean? Like
if you're having a child at 65 years old as a man or woman, I don't think that's possible.
You might not live to see 10 years old.
That's my point, right?
Possibly.
So you're not going to have a ton of influence in that child's development,
right.
I think, and that's the point. And I'm making the analogy of Pop and rubbing off on Tim Duncan as any type of Pop tree.
Well, he's already had 20 years with him as a player, though. I think he pretty much knows the way he coaches, and he's learned a great deal. That's probably why he wanted to go into coaching. Had he played for somebody else, maybe he doesn't want to coach.
You think Duncan can be a good coach?
I don't know.
You don't find guys that are really, 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 really good being good coaches.
I think Aaron McKee's going to be a good coach in college.
Yeah, I do too. But Aaron McKee was not a multiple MVP.
No, he was a sixth man of the year. He's a good
absolutely.
player.
No, you're right. But think about what you said. Sixth man of the year.
Oh, you're talking about
quarterback.
Stars. Okay.
Right, that's what I'm saying, like catcher.
Yeah.
You're talking about areas where you see the game and you're asked to come in and work with different types of people. And I think Aaron McKee has done that where it's like in the NBA, playing with different level of star from first team late in the game, coming off the bench to start games, a catcher who's looking and seeing the game develop in front of him. I mean, there's a lot of that. Even a backup quarterback, right?
Yeah,
where
catchers make good managers generally, and backup quarterbacks make good coaches in the NFL.
But not usually superstar quarterbacks.
Right. Well, it's like who was the best that maybe went to coaching that was a really good player? I mean, Larry Bird had a couple of good years with the Pacers.
But I think that
before he hired Rick Carlisle, right?
Correct.
But
I wonder, though,
he had some success.
He did, but it was dwarfed by the level of success he's had as a general manager.
Right.
Larry's not a bad one, man.
I mean, Pat Riley was a middling player.
Yeah, you can't count Phil Jackson, right, these guys?
Yeah, Phil Jackson was a role player and a bench player for the Knicks.
Right.
Pat Riley, I mean, he played at Kentucky. Where did he play professionally? Was he in the ABA first, I want to say?
I thought Riley played for the Bulls? No. I can't remember offhand.
I got to look that up. But
I mean, if you look at the coaching record that Bird had, Bird coached for 3 years. Conference finals, NBA finals. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, Jerry West as a GM is almost
GM's different,
he's like the best, right?
GM is different, though.
Well, just ask Isaiah Thomas. He was a disaster.
But as far as a head coach manager, and maybe is it different in hockey? Like, does it really matter in hockey?
Hockey's different in every way.
Yeah,
okay.
So let's exclude that for right now. But the NBA is the easiest one to look at and just find the superstars.
Gretzky wasn't good.
No, Gretzky was not
terrible.
good. Right. I mean, think about Ryan Sandberg here. That didn't work.
Oh, that was an abject disaster.
And Sandberg, last time I remember, was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So that was another example of it. We've had, I think, in the NFL, you see the backups that usually come in, but who would be the best? The guy that was, I don't know. Josh, do you have any idea? You're usually good at this. I know. Oh, Pat Riley, Rockets. That's right.
What's that?
I was just seeing if Josh had any.
Now, Pat Riley was he was actually in the NBA for about 9 years.
Rockets, Blazers, Lakers,
San Diego Rockets.
Well,
yeah,
sure. I mean,
and then the Lakers, the Suns.
All right, we'll keep that open on the text board. 609-403-0973. Home teams are like friends. They really need us when they are down a bit. Ed from Wildwood talking about the Phillies.
Yeah, well, what did I say yesterday? They were 11-33 since the start of 2017 on the road against the NL West.
Yep.
So
Now,
they got a rare win last night.
I need you to reset that stat about Vince Velasquez that you got, please.
What about getting to the 7th inning and beyond?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean reset it?
Read it again.
Okay. Well, this was the first time he's done it this season. He's only been into to the 6th inning once this season.
Okay.
Now, granted, he was moved to the bullpen for a while, so he had limited starts, but he was moved because he was not very good.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But he's gotten to 6 innings once this year, 7 innings once, which was last night. In his career, which dates back through 2015, last night was the 5th time he's gotten to the 7th inning. He's gotten beyond the 7th inning once, and that was a 9-inning game a couple of years ago.
All right. To respond on the text board, 6 times, how is Velasquez still in the majors?
Because he still has what they consider good stuff.
That's what it is.
He's considered probably the best athlete on the team. He's a great athlete. And you're just, he doesn't make a ton of money, so you're just like trying to see if he can figure it out.
I don't know, man. Vince Velasquez is hanging by a thread.
Oh,
right
well,
now.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly can't be happy with the win. Vinny V going 7 is crazy, but every time this team gives you hope, it's followed by a garbage performance.
That's true.
Get ready for disappointment. I'm sick of this. It reminds me of someone saying they're getting clean and sober.
Yep.
They're good for like a week, and then go back, and it repeats itself. If you don't know yet, this is Dan Schwartz.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like tonight, are you going to get 4 innings or more out of Arrieta and his elbow?
Probably. I mean, you can't expect more than 5, I think. You
No,
go into this
no.
thinking if you get 5, that's a bonus.
Now, he's had like an ERA of like 3.2, I want to say, in his last 4 starts. So he hasn't been awful, but he hasn't been able to give you a lot because of the elbow. Let me just look at what he's done.
How about Ditka as a suggestion while you look that
Oh,
up?
Ditka's a fantastic selection.
Right? He would be the one that you would look at and say, okay, he was when he retired, the best tight end of all time.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Now, you talk about when he went to
maybe
New Orleans, he
top
was
3.
terrible.
Yes.
When he started
Chicago,
making trades and doing things like that,
Drafting Ricky Williams.
Right, well, he traded his whole draft for
Right.
get Ricky Williams.
You knew it was over when they had the wedding dress cover
on
Sports
SI.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, because Ditka, it just was not going to work.
That was classic.
So that's what I mean. Outside of Ditka, are we missing anybody?
Yeah, we probably are. We just got to get more from the people. Now, his last 5 starts, Jake, I'm talking about, going back to the Mets game, he gave you, on July 6th, he gave you 4 1/3. Then he gave you 5 against the Nats, 5 2/3 against the Pirates in mid-July. Then the Braves, he gave you 5, and the Giants 4. So, 4 to 5 innings. If they could get 5 innings out of him, that would be incredible tonight.
Yeah, and I think that's really where you begin. 4, you get out of the 4th inning, see where you are. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, my goodness, man. I mean, that's a great encapsulation, I think, of what you get, which is constant disappointment. But at the same time, when you're dragged through 162 and your team finishes 3 to 5 games